So it's Raymond, New York Times top 10 best-selling author, and this is the #1 most important video I've ever made. Why? Because it is on the topic of income. Now, most of my clients over the last 33 years have wanted to increase their income. And so recently I've been thinking really deeply on what income is, what really income is. Now you might say, oh, come on, Raymond, income is money. Well, it's not money. Income is money coming in. So that's a distinction. But more important than that, if you know that income is money coming in, so big deal, it doesn't help you get there. It doesn't help you get the income. And so what is it that is absolutely equal to money, but it also has the added benefit that if you understand it, it dramatically helps you get way more income? So what is it? Is it power? Is it love? Is it commitment? Is it persistence? What is it that's truly equal to income, that absolutely is identically equal to income, but also it helps you get the income? I hope you're pondering about it. I don't want you to just sit there and wait for Raymond to come up with the answer. What is your guess? What do you think it is? Because here it is, you'll be shocked. Income equals communication. That's right. Income equals communication. Let me explain. The more you communicate, the more income you make. The less you communicate, the less income you make. And let me give an example. Let's say you locked yourself in a cave all alone, no cell phones, no nothing, for a year. How much money would you make? Nothing. So no communication certainly equals no income. Now let's look at the other side of the coin. If you communicate a lot and really well, then of course there's an opportunity for your income to rise. And when you think about it, you'll realize, well, there's no other way to get income except to communicate. So communication equals income, and income equals communication. Now, there's only one kind of income that you want, and that's quantity of income. Quantity of income. In other words, you want more and more quantity of income. But there are two kinds of communication, and it's really important that you understand that. One kind is called quantity of communication, and that's good, but not good enough. So for example, if this video was just me saying da 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 da, I could say da 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 for an hour. That would be a large quantity of communication, but it would make me no income. And so for communication, there's two kinds of communication. One is quantity, that's simply how much, and the other is quality of communication. And here's the revised formula. Quality and quantity of communication equals quantity of income. In other words, you have to have high enough quality, like this video is high quality, you're really learning something, and quantity, if I just spoke for a couple seconds, then there would be no income. So you need quality and quantity of communication in order to equal quantity of income. So let's take, for example, someone who joins a network marketing program, and they don't tell anybody about it. They're just hoping people will enroll. Nobody enrolls, and so they have no income. Why? Because they had no quantity of communication. So let's say they steeled up their courage and they went up to people and say, hi, you want to sign up? Well, that's really low quality. No one's going to say yes to that. You walk up to a stranger and say, hi, you want to sign up? So with very poor quality, doesn't matter how much quantity you have, you'll get no income. That's why most people fail in network marketing. They don't have the quality, they don't know what to say that's clever, and they don't have the quantity. They're afraid to talk to people. And so typically people's income in network marketing is almost zero. And you can see that happens in a lot of other ways. If you're a salesman, if you just want your kids to come to the dinner table with their hands washed, if you want your spouse to agree to something, if you're in a committee and you want the other members of the committee to follow what you're saying, you can see that quantity of communication, that means talking to them, And quality of communication, that means talking to them correctly, is the key to success. Now, let me make a metaphor so that you understand it a little better. Let's say you're supposed to throw a rock, a fairly heavy rock, as far as you can. Throwing the rock is the communication, and how far it goes is the income. So if you pick up this really heavy rock and throw it, it might only go 10 feet. So you only got 10 feet of income in that metaphor. Well, if you then took, you know how a rat trap or a mouse trap works, where you have to pull the lever back, and when it gets all the way back, the coil is so taut that when you leave it go, it whacks down on that poor mouse. Well, let's say you had a big mouse trap, and you pull the lever back, and you put the rock on that lever. When you let it go, it might go flying 100 feet or 50 feet. Now, on your own, just with your arm, you might only be able to have it go 5 or 10 feet. But when you get a really strong plank and a really taut coil and let it go, it can propel the rock 50 feet, let's say. And so in that case, the quality and quantity of the throwing produces the distance, which is the income. And so yes, the quality of the throwing produces the quantity of the distance, just like the quality and quantity of communication produces the quantity of income. So you understand that now. Let's talk about me. Now, it could be, and I'm talking about me in order for you to understand how you can make way more money simply by communicating. You can talk to a person one-on-one, maybe your spouse, maybe your child, maybe somebody that you're trying to sell or convince or sign a contract. You could be speaking to several people, like a group or your own committee. You might be speaking to a little more than that, maybe the people in your club, the people in your company. You might be speaking to many people, like on stage. The quality of what you say and the quantity of what you say equals your income. And so how have I done? Well, let's talk about stage presentations. When I'm on stage, I talk for an hour and a half, sometimes a whole day. That's quantity. I also speak with a high quality. There's certain things I say and certain things I don't say, and that produces high income. For example, the best I ever did in 33 years is I made $1 million in 90 minutes. $1 million in 90 minutes. But there have been dozens of times where I've made many more than dozens, maybe 100 times that I've made $250,000 in 90 minutes. There's 1,000 times, several thousand times. I've given 5,000 speeches in a third of a century. There's thousands of times I've earned at least $25,000 in an hour or so. Why? Because I have quantity and quality of communication. Now let's talk specifically about you. What I have noticed is that I can speak to any person at all. Could be you. I could speak to any person at all. Within several of your sentences, I spot 1 or 2 errors. Now, you don't think of them as errors. You think you're just talking. And other people listen to you and they don't say anything and they seem to understand you. And so you don't call them an error. But I do. Why? Because they lower your brand. They decrease the quality of your communication. And other people have just as poor quality of communication as you do, and so they don't notice it, but I do. And I also notice that if I speak to you for maybe 20 minutes, I will spot all 13 of the most critical errors that you do in communication that dramatically reduce your income. Because remember, you could talk for hours and hours, that would be quantity. But I can speak to you for as little as 15, maybe 20 minutes, and I will spot all 13 of the errors that you make that reduce your quality of communication so much that what happens? People don't agree with you as much as they could. They don't sign contracts with you as much as they could. They don't enroll in your program or buy your product as much as they could. They don't agree with you in a negotiation, or you lose a little more than you expected in your negotiation, or your kids don't come to the table with their hands washed. Whatever it is, when you lower your quality of communication, you dramatically lower your income or any outcome that you want. So what is the next step? The next step is to clean up your quality of communication. Your quality of communication. And I'm the best in the world to do it. I have charged $60,000 for what I call speaker tweaking, where I take a really, really good communicator and I work with them all Monday, then they have homework Monday night, and then I work with them on Tuesday and they can't handle anymore by Tuesday at noon. When I work one-on-one, like I blow fuses with even the greatest speakers in the world, of which I've had some of the most famous speakers in the world have been my clients, and I've dramatically helped them improve their income from speaking. So, are you interested? Are you interested in my working with you in a small group setting? Why small group? So I can lower the price from $60,000. I can get just as much done. I can work with you almost one-on-one. Certainly there will be some one-on-one time, and in small group sessions, you'll be amazed at how I can, in one day, dramatically increase your quality of communication, which will automatically increase, you're right, your quantity of income. Do you want a greater quantity of income? Yes, you do, but you're probably saying, yeah, but if I have to spend $60,000 to get higher income, it's going to take me a long time to recover from that. You're right. And so I'm going to do a really totally special favor. If I reduce the tuition so ridiculously that anybody can afford it, if I do that, are you prepared to come, fly, drive, crawl, swim, kayak, whatever you have to do in order to get there? There are people coming from 3 countries. There are people coming from 2 different continents in order to get to this special event. I've been one of the greatest speakers on the planet for a third of a century, and I am now going to reveal to you my secrets so that you can get it. So not only will I put my ideas in your head so that you can speak better, but I will yank out of your head the bad communication habits that you've picked up. Now you might say, oh, I don't have bad communication habits. Well, then why aren't you making $1 million an hour like I do? And the answer is, you might say, well, I don't want to speak on stage. You don't have to speak on stage. There are people who just work one-on-one to sign contracts with people. There are people who just enroll others in their program and earn an enormous amount of money. Do you want to dramatically increase your quantity of income? If you do, then you need to increase the quality of your communications. So, I am holding a very special event, and it's 3 days long. It's not a day, it's not a day and a half. 3 giant days long, 9 in the morning till 6 at night. I'm reducing the tuition wildly because I want you to be there. Will there be thousands of people in the room? No. Will there be hundreds of people in the room? No. Will there be dozens of the people in the room? Probably not. It'll be like 1 or 2 dozen. Why? I need to keep it small to give you the power that you need. All you have to do is join, press that button and join. And when you do, you will have the most glorious communication ride of your life. I will yank out of you the errors that you make. There's 13, at least the most common 13. I will put in my new powerful ideas. Your quality of communication will be dramatically higher by the end of the 3 days. And here comes the most important part. I've told you it's $60,000 that I've charged once or twice a year to distinguish people for the last 10 or 20 years, but now I'm going to do something special for you. I'm holding a small group session, as you know. I'm going to keep it intimate so that I can give private, personalized attention to you one-on-one, plus small group activities. You will learn, you will grow, it'll be fabulous, but it won't be $60,000. I'm going to reduce it by so much you'll be shocked. I'm reducing it by 99%. Get in right now. It's only $497. I'm reducing it by 99% to only $497. I'm restricting it severely. There'll be a very small number of people in the room. Get in right now. $497. I absolutely guarantee you, if you simply delete one of your communication errors, your income will rise way more than $497. $497. That's the complete tuition. Is that the deposit to get in? No. Is that one of the 5 payments? No. That's the whole thing. The whole thing, $497, not $60,000, $497. I wish you great success in gigantic increase in income coming from gigantic increase in quality of communication. I will see you there. Be one of the few that's there. Press the button, get into the program. $4.97, give me a break. Be there.